People are really into the old cars, you know, especially muscle cars. They just keep getting more popular. Drones of the 60s. The drag cars of the past, I mean, they're all over the nation running as we speak. Unbelievable driver. 427, 435 horse, 396, 375 horse, 446 pack, 429 Fords, you know, all that stuff. And I'm leaving out a bunch. Those motors are put tuned properly. They're unreal. They're workers. Muscle cars of the 60s. I love the 50s car. Well, muscle cars go back into the 50s. People didn't just create horsepower. It's been around a long time. And it's going to be around as, you know, Americans are the biggest horsepower junkies there are. Basically, we've taken and restored tons of signs around here. And everywhere people go here, their stories are about what they're standing under, or looking at, or pointing at, and that's what I'm trying to create. In the 70 acres in which I'm on will eventually all be wrapped in porcelain neon signs. Signs are, you know, I always thought they were a work of art just the way they are, you know. What did you drive past in every town? What did you view? What stations you pull in? Did you pull into a Standard, a Mobil Gas? Did you drive by a Maytag sign? Did Alice Chalmers tractor neon sign, a patio grill, a Chevrolet bow tie that was 30 foot. People romanticize about that era, but for all reason they should. You know, it's another segment in our early history as a nation. I sure wanted to host and showcase a place that would represent those cars in which I truly love. I guess it's what I looked up to, you know. It's a time that America was definitely on top. They were landing on the moon, and so were the cars.
It's about 10 o'clock on a Thursday night. I'm on Interstate 635, and you can hear them coming.
That's more coming up on your right. My left. Two on my left.
Within split seconds, out of nowhere, they're all around us. The stunts are remarkable, and the speeds, from above we clock some of them up to 160 miles per hour. It all began hours before this, on this night at a Dallas hangout. Packs of cyclists gathered. Not all of them would hit the highways like this, but when the police arrived, many of them did.
Cops up! Cops up!
An 18-year-old rider agreed to tell us about this weekly routine if we did not identify him.
I know that what I'm doing is, there's a high possibility of my death.
And someone else's.
And someone else's, yes.
And while he says he'd stop riding if he ever killed someone,
I find it worth the risk.
he and others tell me they slyly hide their license plates, soup up their bikes to speeds officers can't reach, and spend months mastering stunts that become spectacles for North Texas motorists. But Jerry Aronson was not impressed.
And all of a sudden we heard a big roar coming from behind us.
Aronson was on Highway 360 when one of the riders sideswiped him and his family.
As he sideswiped me, you can see his body shearing off the rearview mirror.
No one in Aronson's car was hurt, but the rider spent weeks in the hospital, and Aronson spent months fighting insurance claims.
Their thrill-seeking is causing other people a lot of grief and harm.
And it's extremely dangerous.
CBS 11 showed our video to North Texas police departments. They all agreed.
We're not going to put the public in greater risk just so that we can chase after these individuals.
But Arlington, Garland, Mesquite, and Richardson officers all say their patrols radio each other about the directions the riders are headed. And before the bikers escape to long stretches of highway, some of these departments say they're looking for registration and other moving violations, arresting riders and impounding bikes. That's Dallas officers you're watching, taking the keys of riders, likely to keep them from running. And yet, Dallas police say they're unaware of the problem and have had no complaints. While some local departments search for answers, bike fanatic Tim Barnes has an idea of his own.
Once you start telling these guys, hey, tone it down, they're giving us this spot to play in, so respect the highway thing. You know, I believe that over a period of time it would take its toll.
Barnes is trying to take the sport off the highways and onto safe ground. Places like this abandoned Fort Worth airport, where he and his friends can ride like this, but legally. Despite the ideas and efforts, the reaction from some:
There's nothing they could do to make me stop.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
You
That's
put
great,
that in the
man.
window.
I'll do it right now.
Punk rock's always had flyers for their shows. It's the only way, because they don't have money to put it on the radio or television advertisements or magazines usually. Everybody does posters differently, and usually it has something to do with the band. For the Bauhaus, so just it's an old arty science fiction type theme is what I think of when I think of the Bauhaus. So once you come up with the image, you just put the lettering on and make sure everything's spelled right, and that's how you make a flyer. I don't look at myself as an artist. I look at myself as more of a screen printer. That's the type of medium that I've created that I can manipulate the best to make something, make an idea in my head actually come out. Unless it's a major band, I don't make money off this stuff. I kind of do it for the love of it, and hopefully some jobs, the big jobs, will pay for the little posters. As long as I can feed myself and stay happy, I'll keep doing posters, that's for sure.
Secret Service agents are gearing up to head out. The day's mission, really no different than any other. Keep the person in the limo alive at any cost.
This is where the president would ride.
But on this day, the federal agents are teaching local authorities how to react to the almost unimaginable. Only the instructors know what's about to happen. An attacker signals a pickup truck. It races to block the motorcade. Shots ring out. Within seconds, they've come out of nowhere, and they're right on us. The entire motorcade is under siege.
Johnny, repeat! Johnny, repeat!
This is a post-exercise briefing. What they're doing right now is discussing what actually took place as far as the attack.
Mike James is in charge of the Secret Service for most of the state of Texas. James says agents are explaining to Dallas police exactly what happened in this attack, how the officers responded,
and what was the net result. Would we have gotten out? Would we not?
Would we have?
I don't know.
When this Texan became president, Dallas police, state troopers, and several other law enforcement agencies across the state gained a big responsibility. The entire First family and the vice president all have close ties to North Texas. They and their high-profile visitors made about 100 trips here last year. Secret Service agents have the primary responsibility for protecting the VIPs, but local departments must provide the backup. Agents say an ambush is never an accident. It's always premeditated, planned for weeks, months, maybe even years in advance. And yet, those in the motorcade have less than a second to respond.
They're coming.
In this training scenario, a sniper sets the stage for an attack from inside a building along the route. He throws a bomb that brings the motorcade to a halt. Then he and at least half a dozen other gunmen open fire on state troopers, Arlington, and Irving police.
Collapse on the limo! Collapse on the limo!
Supervisors order their officers to surround and protect the limo and its occupants, but the simulated casualties are heavy. It's not known if the VIPs escaped because the outcome of this exercise, like all of the other training scenarios, is classified.
Actual stop.
Many of the departments that participated now plan to make changes based on the training.
It definitely showed some areas that we'll be improving by next week.
Our mission is to protect the person we're charged with keeping alive. To do that, we have to be trained, retrained, and retrained.
You are in a place few have seen.
I find it creepy.
The cell that held Lee Harvey Oswald.
Most of them don't get to come up here. Most of them get to go to the ramp, and that's it. But a lot of them, I don't even know they know the cell is up here.
Up here, on the 5th floor of the old police department, Oswald spent his last days isolated in the center cell.
When they brought him up here late the night of the assassination, he was all by himself. There were no other prisoners up here, and as best we know from the fragmentary records that they kept on at least this part of the subject, there's another officer seated in here to keep an eye on him, and then there's another officer around the corner out there controlling the gates.
By most accounts, Oswald would lie here quietly, his gaze fixed at the sickly green walls, a color that was supposed to soothe prisoners. A back elevator took Oswald down for interrogations. There were mobs of media here on the 3rd floor. The same elevator would take Oswald to his doom.
When I was getting on the elevator up there, I told him, I said, Lee, if anybody shoots at you, I hope it's as good a shot as you are. Meaning, of course, it hit him and not me.
Jim Lavelle is forever the lawman in the light suit. He is handcuffed to Oswald.
You're closer to me than this. And when I jerked on you, I turned you rather than pulling you behind me. Now see, if I'd have been at a long distance from you, I could have moved you. But I wasn't. I was right up close to you. And when I jerked on you, I just turned the body a little bit. And so instead of the bullet hitting you dead center, it hit you right about here. Right about there.
This is where it happened.
Yeah, right here.
And right here causes the city some concern. How can you preserve something that directly links us to November 1963?
You know, there's an entire building of 5 or 6 floors, and to save 3 floors, you'd have to save the whole building. What do you do with it? This is a rundown building.
They've talked about moving the entire cage, but it's embedded in the concrete. And there are some who wonder, should we save it at all?
If you keep it and preserve it for people to view, you're going to have this controversy continually because they're going to come in with the, well, what if this happened? What if it happened this way?
And what if nothing happens and this vanishes? Would a place that few people see be missed? Or would a trust that we preserve the past have been misplaced? Joel Thomas, CBS 11 News.
I started dancing when I was 2. I always had rhythm, always looked for the camera, and I was always the ham, the youngest child, and I just knew that it was part of me ever since I was born.
My father took tap lessons when he was young, and so he enrolled me in the local dance school as part of the preschool program, just for the heck of it, because he did when he was young. He didn't know I'd get attached to it.
gonna be hard to leave, but I think it's gonna be good. I'm ready. I've never been more ready in my life, and as a freshman, yeah, you think you're ready to go out and face the world, but until you hit at this point in your life, you're really not ready. So here I come.
Oklahoma City University is famous for beauty. The school's 3 Miss Americas, Jane Giroux, Susan Powell, and Chantel Smith, are honored here on campus. And now, the beauty of what's being taught here is getting just as much recognition.
PK and up, tombe, pas de bourrée, pas de chat, pas de bourrée. Very big pas de chat.
Jo Rowan speaks a different language at times, the language of dance.
And move your shoulder, long neck, because that sets you up for your PK turn. That's it. Big, 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 big plie. I had always wanted to bring respect to American triple threat dancers. And triple threat means that you can be a singer, dancer, actor. There were places where actors and singers could be involved in American show business and still get a good liberal arts education. But most universities, at least to my knowledge, were involved with ballet and modern.
In her performing days, Jo Rowan was world class, a prima ballerina. Dancing at venues around the globe, the world really was her stage. It was then that she became fascinated with a certain state out in the middle of America.
I was in New York and other centers of performance excellence and found great, well-trained performers who were also really nice people. And many of them, I mean a majority of them, were from Oklahoma. So I was wondering what was going on in Oklahoma. And then I had the good luck to be able to come out and see the land and meet the people, and I fell in love with Oklahoma and the people.
She wanted to put her knowledge as a performer to use. So almost 25 years ago, she became a professor when she and her husband, John Bedford, now the school's dean, founded the department and welcomed 2 students to campus. Today, almost 200 dancers are involved in the program each year.
Now, you know I'm not going to let you go to another teacher, so I mean this. It's a very good class. I consider myself a professor, not a teacher. The student is the teacher. I will explain and I will be their cheerleader, but I expect them to absorb and be as focused on their success in the business as I am. And they do a wonderful job of that.
She really cares about you, and she gives you the chance to figure out things on your own and, you know, take what she has that she's given you that she wants you to specifically do, but also gives you a chance to do it on your own.
2, 3.
She's brilliant. She's younger every day. She keeps up with us. She can dance circles around all of us. And in her class, every day we have just a lesson on who you are, who you should be, how you should treat your fellow professional dancers.
Jo Rowan's another reason that I came here. Besides the fact that she's a legend in all aspects of dance, people in South Georgia who don't know a whole lot about dance, a lot of them have actually heard of Jo Rowan.
Now that's a challenge to be able to fill that music.
She is, after all, the Collegiate Dance Teacher of the Year at a university recognized as the best dance school in America.
Well, we're very successful in what we do, and I'm glad that America has focused on other different dance styles. But when it comes to preparing people to go into show business, we do it. And it's not just people who are performers. It's show and it's business.
OCU's Ann Lacey School of American Dance and Arts Management trains students to work behind the scenes too. They work in a real ticket office, selling seats to their own shows.
And go, Jeb, go!
Their pedagogy classes prepare them for future days outside the spotlight when they might be teaching dance to youngsters.
Cat in the hat!
Students assume the roles of teacher and children.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
My biggest dream for sure is Broadway, have a name in lights and all that, and being successful in that. And if not, as a side job or anything else, I would like to teach dancing since I do love children. And the great thing about OCU is that they give us that opportunity as well to be able to learn how to teach with our pedagogy classes and our ways of cooperating with each other.
Very good class.
Students learn not just how to live life as a dancer, but how to live life, period.
That's probably the biggest thing I've learned since I've been here is just that's what being a teacher is about, and that's what being a professional is about, and that's what loving what you do and having a passion for what you do is about.
1, 2, hit it. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Use those arms, you all. Y'all are doing something. Okay, we grab, don't smack yourself in the head because you will do that. Ready, 1.
That passion for performing and for teaching fills Tap Master Robert Reed.
Well, it's a joy to pass it on. You got to pass on the art form. And it is an art form, as you can hear the musicality of it, the tonality of it. You know, anything that a drummer can do with his hands, I can do with my feet, or the hoofers can do with their feet, any kind of rhythm that there is. You know, so the joy comes from seeing the kids' face light up that they can do this with their feet. You know, all of a sudden they didn't think they could do that.
Mr. Reed, oh man, Mr. Reed brings something to the school that you couldn't get at any other university. He seems to have his own style of teaching. He learned from the best of the best, and he teaches us like they taught him. He's very low to the floor with tap. He's very much about listening to the rhythm, learning the rhythm instead of just watching it or calling the steps names.
It's about art and it's about life. It's not about steps. Here at the university, we don't teach steps or just steps. We teach life and how to dance. We teach you to become an artist. We teach you to do passion, not just a bunch of steps.
More than any other form of dance, tap allows you to express yourself freely, to show your emotions, almost as if you were talking to someone without using words.
This is a conversation. This is a conversation. This is a conversation that I'm talking to you. You hear the flavor, you hear it's talking to you. It's not just a bunch of steps, it's a tonality. You know, it's like when we talk, we dance like we talk.
Well, some of us have a bigger vocabulary than others. Robert Reed is a big believer in passing on the language of tap. He's doing it for his students and for his son, who likes to stop by class once in a while and talk, so to speak.
It's the rhythm of life, you know? Everything goes to rhythm, see? And when you find that rhythm in tap, you find the rhythm of life. It's like no other feeling in the world. It's like heaven. And we talk about the tap gods at the end of the class, you know? And we talk about remembering, you know, the past, because the past goes full circle.
L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only
In 1965, Arthur Duncan began tap dancing on The Lawrence Welk Show. He was the only person on network television carrying on the tradition of tap and bringing it into living rooms every week. Amazingly, in order to get perfect sound, Duncan recorded his tap dance without music one day and then had to recreate it perfectly later in the week when the band was on stage.
So in tap dancing, you got to match every tap that's down there, or you have a lot of air taps. So it was a little difficult trying to set a routine and remember what you did for the following Tuesday. But it worked out pretty good. It taught us a lot of discipline.
Arthur Duncan is one of those tap gods Robert Reed students think about at the end of each class. This spring, they got to meet him.
Arthur Duncan is your artistic father. He is a creator of what you are learning and a promoter of what you will do with the rest of your life, which is to make people happy.
The night before, he had been in the audience for the American Spirit Dance Company's spring show, a rousing performance featuring several dance numbers ranging from Broadway to ballet. It was Duncan's first trip to Oklahoma City and his first exposure to what is being accomplished at OCU.
It was incredible. It was one of the greatest shows I've ever seen in my life. It's top drawer. It's Broadway. Broadway right here in Oklahoma City University. Just nothing better. This show could take it as it was last night and set it in any theater in New York City and it'd be a hit.
High praise from a tap guy. And then the ultimate compliment. Arthur Duncan, being honored by the school as a living treasure, would perform on the same stage with the students on the final night of the spring show.
If you come down to the river, I bet you're gonna find some people who live. And you don't have to worry if you got no money. People on the river are happy to give. They will keep on turning, primary, keep on burning.
For the seniors, it was among their last performances at a school where they've learned so much.
It's gonna be hard to leave, but I think it's gonna be good. I'm ready. I've never been more ready in my life.
There's a rush. There's an adrenaline rush. It's what I do best. It's what I was born to do. So whether it's singing, dancing, anything, it's what I was born to do.
They have come here to the middle of America from all around the country to dance on top of a mountain of respect built by Joe Rowan, John Bedford, and the leadership at OCU. A mountain that keeps lifting everyone higher.
I feel I am an Oklahoman because my heart is here. And this is where I want to work and train people to bring respect to American dance throughout the world.